world just keeps expanding after every quest we do. Completed 2001 and 2002. 22 full years of questing became death enough for me. RuneScape 3 Hardcore Ultimate Ironman questing through 2003. Welcome back to May 27th, 2003. The fishing and cooking never ends. Or, I guess it'll end once we're out of feathers again. Maybe. Either way, there is level 80 fishing. Milestone, achievement. Very cool. Our second level 80 skill, after we got cooking earlier. And now there's a 10 level gap between fishing and the next skill, which is 70 woodcutting. It seems like a lot, because it is. A huge percentage of our experience is in fishing and cooking. But that's okay. Realistically, this is a good thing to be doing AFK now. A lot of other skills will get better training methods in the future. But fly fishing is just, in general, pretty solid choice. At level 80, there's a whole bunch of stuff. We got blue crabs, casket salvaging scrimshaws, great white sharks, and the possibility of getting 2 great white sharks with 85 agility, monkfish gloves, shark outfit, and great white sharks again. None of these things exist yet. All we get is slightly better at fishing. We're going pretty quickly at the fishing at this point, which is nice. So yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this. At least for a little bit. And here is 84 cooking. Wow. That is great white shark and great maki. Sushi. Fancy. Every individual level is getting quite a bit at this point. Next cooking level in 300,000 XP. My goodness. 50 fire making. Milestone achievement. Yay. That is a quest requirement. And we can burn mahogany logs, maple pyre logs, willow logs barbarian style, and boa strangler branches. None of those things exist. There you go. Oh boy! Another golden cape shard. We got 3 of those. We're still never gonna get to 8. Literally impossible. Goodbye. Just casually hanging out here at the edge of the world. We have only like 2 updates to go through. Starting with May 29th, 2003, where there were some bug fixes. Some interesting things here, balancing changes, and making sure things work correctly. Specifically, seaweed and the Watchtower quest now work again. So, those were probably not the same problem, breaking seaweed and a quest, but those are 2 things that work, so that's good. The dwarf remains for dwarf cannon, and the pickaxes in the pickaxe shop now spawn faster, so you can get more people through the quests and have everyone in the world be purchasing their new pickaxes. So that's going to be delightful. Fatigue from combat was reduced by a bit. Specifically at higher level training, the amount of fatigue was a little bit much. But it still exists, just slightly less. And to also help with your combat fatigue. Sleeping bags now restore fatigue slightly faster. So that's good too. More outside of the game, there's a new server in Australasia. It is in Singapore. The bandwidth, way over there, is 20 times more expensive than the other locations for servers. So it's a members only server, which is fair for 20 times the cost. Yeah. And now, on June 9th, 2003, we get a new quest. Specifically, Murder Mystery. Requirements, none. Item requirements, a pot, which we've got. And we also get a new area. But first, we got a little bit of road here, coming up between Camelot Castle and Sears Bank. So that's fun. Roads go to places, at least most of the time. Specifically here. This is Sinclair Mansion. Pretty much, I mean, literally, the only area of the map north of the Camelot Castle, McGruber's Woods, Extorium Falls, Trinome Stronghold line down to the south. Besides the wilderness, of course. And speaking of roads that go places, this one doesn't. This one doesn't. Because it ends right here. It does technically go down south slightly along the lake here. But later, there's going to be bridges and such. But not yet. Not yet. What we do have is some trees. Possibly maple trees. Even if they are, it's not the most convenient location to chop maple trees, so I'm not too worried about that. Instead, we're just going to head on in here and talk to the gossip. There's some kind of commotion up at the Sinclair place, I hear. Not surprising, all things considered. Just out here, gossiping. Let's get into the Sinclair place. Right up here. Then we got a guard. And there. What's going on here? Oh, it's terrible. Lord Sinclair has been murdered, and we don't have any clues as to who or why. We're totally baffled. If you can help us, we'll be very grateful. Murder mystery. Accept. Sure, I'll help. Thanks a lot. What should I be doing to help? Look around and investigate who might be responsible. The Sarge said every murder leaves clues to who done it. But frankly, we're out of our depth here. They just... We need to look around for clues, but they don't know what they're doing. How did Lord Sinclair die? Well, it's all very mysterious. Mary, the maid, found the body in the study next to his bedroom on the east wing of the ground floor. The door was found locked from the inside, and he seemed to have been stabbed, but there was an odd smell from the room. Frankly, I'm stumped. That's a lot of information. I know who did it. Really? That was quick. Work. Who? It was an intruder. The butler did it. One of the servants. One of his family. We don't actually have any clues yet. We need to actually get some evidence before just blindly accusing somebody. Not the best plan. I don't think the milk cellar exists yet, so I'm not going to bother talking to them. We've got lots of people here we can investigate. Like Bob. I'm here to help the guards with their investigation. I suppose I'd better talk to you then. Who do you think was responsible? Just asking everyone who they think the killer was. That's definitely gonna work. I don't really care, as long as no one thinks it's me. Maybe it was the strange poison seller who headed towards the Seer's village. Poison seller, eh? And where were you when the murder happened? I was walking by myself in the garden. And can anyone vouch for that? No, but I was. Not the best alibi, that's for sure. Here's another person, Pierre. I'm here to help the guards with their investigation. How can I help? Who do you think was responsible? Honestly, I think it was Carol. I saw her in a huge argument with Lord Sinclair in the library the other day. It was something to do with stolen books. She definitely seemed upset enough to have done it afterwards. That's more than just a guy that doesn't want anybody to be blaming him, at least. Where were you at the time of the murder? I was in town at the inn. When I got back, the house was swarming with guards, who told me what had happened. Sorry. So he wasn't even here. Allegedly. And did you hear any suspicious noises at all? Well, like what? Any sound of a struggle with Lord Sinclair? No, I don't remember hearing anything like that. How about the guard dog barking at all? I hear him bark all the time. It's one of his favorite things to do. I can't say I did the night of the murder, though, as I wasn't close enough to hear either way. Did you hear anything strange? I don't know. Like, didn't you say you were in town? Yeah. Slightly suspicious. Let's talk to the milk seller anyway, even though I don't think she's actually here yet. Would you like to buy some milk? No, I'm currently doing a murder investigation. No thanks. Change your mind, you know where we are. That is for a cheese update, that one. Either way, got one more person outside to talk to. Stanford. I'm here to help the guard with their investigation. How can I help? Who do you think is responsible? It was Anna. She is seriously unbalanced. She trashed the garden once, then tried to blame it on me. I bet it was her. It's just the kind of thing she'd do. She really hates me and was arguing with Lord Sinclair about trashing the garden a few days ago. So, sounds like lots of arguments out here. Where were you at the time of the murder? Right here, by my little shed. It's very cozy to sit and think in. And do you hear any noises? Not that I remember. So, no sounds of a struggle between Lord Sinclair and an intruder? Not to the best of my recollection. How about the guard dog barking? Not that I can recall. Alright. Let's enjoy his little shed. Very nice. Good shed. Now we need to head inside the mansion proper. Pop in here. Got a whole bunch of people to talk to. Like Hobbs here. How can I help? Who do you think was responsible? Well, in my considered opinion, it must be David. The man is nothing more than a bully, and I happen to know that poor Lord Sinclair and David had a massive argument in the living room about the way he treats the staff the other day. I did not intend to overhear their conversation, but they were shouting so loudly I could not help but overhear it. David definitely used the words, "I'm going to kill you," as well. I think he should be the prime suspect. He has a nasty temper, that one. Literally saying you're going to kill someone and then they are murdered. Not the best look. Where were you at the time of the murder? Assisting the cook with the evening meal. I gave Mary his lordship's dinner and sent her to take it to him, then heard the scream as she found the body. So we get more of a timeline here. Any suspicious noises? How do you mean suspicious? Like any sounds of a struggle with Lord Sinclair? Nope, definitely didn't hear anything like that. And how about the guard dog barking? You know, now you come to mention it, I don't believe I did. I suppose that is proof enough that it could not have been an intruder who was responsible. Would make sense. The guard dog, as long as the guard dog's doing their job, it would be barking at any intruders. Here's Anna, who we already have someone accusing. Oh, really? What do you want to know, then? Who do you think was responsible? It was clearly an intruder. Well, I don't think it was. It was one of our lazy servants, then. Deflection. And where were you when the murder happened? In the library. No one else was there, so you'll just have to take my word for it. And another lack of alibi. My goodness. Head to the main room here. Talk to the guard here. He's just the same guard as the one outside. We're looking around, investigating, and they have no idea what they're doing. Here is Frank. I'm here to help the guards. Good for you. Now what do you want? And can you spare me any money? I'm a little short. Who do you think was responsible? I don't know. You don't know how long it takes an inheritance to come through, do you? Could really use that money pretty soon. Oh, that's not suspicious in the slightest. My goodness. Where were you when the murder happened? I don't know. Somewhere around here, probably. Could you spare me a few coins? I'll be able to pay you double tomorrow. It's just that there's this poker night tonight in town. No, not gonna do that. David? I'm helping the guards. And, make this quick, I have better things to do than be interrogated by half-wits all day. Who do you think was responsible? I don't really know or care. Frankly, the old man deserved to die. There's a suspicious red-headed man who came to the house the other day, selling poison, now that I think about it. Last I saw, he was heading towards the tavern in the Sears village. The poison! Sounds like something we're going to need to investigate. Where were you when the murder happened? That's none of your business! Are we finished now? Or are you just going to stand around irritating me with your idiotic questions all day? I mean, I'm literally investigating. Knowing where you were is kind of important. Sure, fine. Let's investigate the crime scene here at least. We got a criminal's dagger. Knife doesn't seem sturdy enough to have killed Lord Sinclair. Flimsy looking dagger. Got a pungent pot. It's like Lord Sinclair was drinking from this before he died. It's very pungent. It's got a sickly odor. And then we clicked on scrap paper through the wall. That's for something later, I think. And investigate the smashed window. Looks very smashed, yep. Some thread seems to have been caught on a loose nail on the window. You take the thread. It's a green thread. We break the smashed window. Don't want to damage evidence. Fine. Go pick up this scrap paper. I think this is for a later thing. Nope. Says, remember to blow out candles when you leave the room to save energy. Pro tips. Pro tips. So yeah, this thread is definitely going to be of use. Caught on the windowsill. Interesting. Here to help the guards with the investigation. How can I help? Who do you think was responsible? Elizabeth. Her father confronted her about her constant petty thieving and was devastated to find she had stolen a silver needle, which had meant a lot to him. You could hear their argument from the lumbridge. It's arguments, arguments, arguments all the time out here. My goodness. Where were you at the time of the murder? I was right here with Hobbs and Mary. You can't suspect me, surely. She actually has an alibi. Or two, so better than some of the people here. And do you hear any noises? Any suspicious noises? Sounds of a struggle or an intruder? No? Don't recall any such thing. How about the guard dog? Nope. I didn't. If you don't have anything else to ask, can you go and leave me alone now? I have a lot of cooking to do for this evening. Alright. And upstairs, got even more people. Like Carol. Here to help the guards. Well, ask what you want to know then. Who do you think was responsible? I don't know. I think it's very convenient that you have arrived here so soon after it happened. Maybe it was you. It probably wasn't me. That sounds like something I would do, though. We need our own alibi. I was fishing. Ask any of the gnomes, I swear. Where were you when the murder happened? Why? Are you accusing me of something? You seem to have a very high opinion of yourself. I was in my room, if you must know. Alone. They're all alone. They're all alone. My goodness. And now that we have this thread, we can also ask about that. Do you recognize this thread? Show Carol the thread found at the crime scene. It's some thread. Sorry, do you have a point here? Or you just enjoy wasting people's time? Aye. Here's Mary. Hi there. How can I help? Who do you think was responsible? Oh, I don't know. Frank was acting kind of funny after that big argument him and the Lord had the other day by the beehive, so I guess maybe him? It's really scary to think someone here might have been responsible. I actually hope it was a burglar. Yeah, still having the murderer nearby would not be great. Where were you at the time of the murder? I was with Hobbs and Louisa in the kitchen, helping to prepare Lord Sinclair's meal. And then, when I took her to his study, I saw what was horrible. She seems to be on the verge of crying. You decided not to push her for any more details. And any suspicious noises? Don't remember hearing anything out of the ordinary. No struggles? No signs of struggle? No, nothing like that. How about the guard dog barking? Oh, that horrible dog is always barking at nothing. I don't think I did. Slightly more suspicious, having the guard dog that's constantly barking, not barking. There you go. Donovan, the family handyman. I'm here to help the guards with their investigation. How can I help? Who do you think was responsible? Oh, I really couldn't say. I wouldn't really want to point any fingers at anybody. If I had to make a guess, though, I'd have to say it was probably Bob. I saw him arguing with Lord Sinclair about some missing silverware from the kitchen. It was a very heated argument. I think Lord Sinclair was arguing with literally all the children. I mean, not even children at this point, but still. Where were you at the time of the murder? Me? I was sound asleep here in the servants' quarters. It's very hard work as a handyman around here. There's always something to do. So he's the handyman. Well, like his name says. Can confirm. Did you hear any suspicious noises? No, I didn't. But I sleep very soundly at night. So you didn't hear any sounds of a struggle or any barking from the guard dog next to the study window? Now you mention it, no. It is odd, I didn't hear anything like that. But I do sleep very soundly, as I said. I wouldn't necessarily have heard it if there was any such noise. Fair. And lastly, here's Elizabeth. I'm here to help the guards. What's so important you need to bother me then? Who do you think was responsible? Could have been anyone. The old man was an idiot. He's been asking for it for years. They really do not think too highly of their father. My goodness. Where were you when the murder happened? I was out. Could it be any more specific? Not really. I don't have to justify myself to the likes of you, you know. I know the king personally, you know. Now, are we finished here? And how about this thread? It's some thread. You're not very good at this whole investigation thing, are you? Well, I'd say we're doing fine. We did the asking around pretty well, I'd say. We've talked to everyone. Let's go back and talk to some more people about the thread, though. Like David here. It's some green thread, like my trousers are made of. Are you finished? I'm not sure what I dislike more about you. Your face or your general bad odor? So he did admit that his pants are green. And Anna, your pants look pretty green too. It's some green thread. It's not exactly uncommon, is it? My trousers are made of the same material. But that's not enough to get the actual information here. That is multiple people with green clothes. And everyone knows that they wear green clothes. So, could even be a setup. I'm investigating the murder at the Sinclair place. Talking to the gossip here. Murder, is it? Well, I'm not really surprised. What can you tell me about the Sinclairs? Well, what do you want to know? Tell me about Lord Sinclair. Oh, Lord Sinclair was a great man with a lot of respect in these parts. More than his worthless children have, anyway. His children? They have something to gain by his death? Yes, you could say that. Not that I'm one to gossip. The gossip did not have as much information originally. You could talk to him about there being a quest nearby, but later we get all these additional bits of information. So let us get some more fun dialogue here. Why do the Sinclairs live so far from town? Well, they used to live in the big castle, but Lord Sinclair gave it up so that those strange knights could live there instead. So the king built him a new house to the north. It's more cramped than his old place, but he seemed to like it. His children were furious at him for doing it, though. So they already had a lot of anger, even before all these recent arguments. And more information about his sons. Lord Sinclair's sons. His sons, eh? They all have their own skeletons in their cupboards. I have to be more specific. Who are you interested in exactly? How about Bob? Bob's an odd character indeed. I'm not one to gossip, the gossip keeps constantly saying. I heard Bob is addicted to tea. He can't make it through the day without having at least 20 cups. You might not think that's such a big thing, but he has spent thousands of gold to feed this habit. At one point, he stole a lot of silverware from the kitchen and pawned it so he could afford to buy his daily tea allowance. His father even found out he'd be in so much trouble, he might even get disowned. Dun dun dun. So, it was problem after problem out here. Let's get some more fun lore about all the different kids here. David. David, oh David. Not many people know this, but David really has an anger problem. He's always screaming and shouting at the household servants when he's angry. And they live in a state of fear, always walking on eggshells around him. But none of them have the courage to talk to his father about his behavior. If they did, Lord Sinclair would most certainly kick him out of the house, as some of the servants have been there longer than he has, and he definitely has no right to treat them the way he does. But I'm not one to gossip about people. Oh, you. Oh, gossip. You such a guy. And the last son. The sons. Frank. I'm not one to talk ill of people behind their back, but Frank is a real piece of work. He's an absolute terrible gambler. He can't pass 2 dogs in the street without putting a bet on which one will bark first. He's already squandered all of his allowance, and I heard he had stolen a number of paintings of his father's to sell to try to cover his debts. but he still owes a lot of people a lot of money. If his father ever found out, he would stop his income, and he would be in serious trouble. So, their relationship with their father was even worse than it first sounded. They had arguments, more arguments, and reasons to be getting kicked out. And the daughters? His daughters, they're all nasty pieces of work. Which of them specifically did you want to know about? Anna. Anna, ah yes. Anna has two great loves. Sewing and gardening. One thing she has kept secret is that she once had an affair with Stanford the gardener, tried to get him fired when they broke up, by killing all the flowers in the garden. If her father ever found out she had done that, he'd be so furious he would probably disown her. My goodness. And the next daughter, Carol. Oh, Carol, she's such a fool. You didn't hear it from me, but I heard a while ago she was conned out of a lot of money by a traveling salesman who sold her a box full of beans by telling her they were magic. But they weren't. She sold some rare books from the library to cover her debts, but her father would be incredibly annoyed if he ever found out. He might even throw her out of the house. If Lord Sinclair was not dead, he would be here alone by now, it seems. Well, I guess the servants would be staying around. They would have a lot less to do without 6 good-for-nothing kids lying around being a mess. Elizabeth is a strange problem. She could not help herself, was always stealing small objects. It's pretty sad that she is rich enough to afford to buy things, would rather steal them instead. Now, I don't want to spread stories, but I heard she even stole a silver needle from her father that had great sentimental value for him. He was devastated when it was lost, cried for a week, thinking he had lost it. If he ever found out it was her who had stolen it, he would go absolutely mental, maybe even disowning her. They would all have been getting disowned. Family meeting, everybody leave. Who do you think was responsible? Well, I guess it could have been an intruder, but with that big guard dog of theirs, I seriously doubt it. I suspect it was someone closer to home. Especially as I heard that the poison salesman in the Sears Village made a big sale to one of the family the other day. Definitely need to go check out the poison salesman. I think the butler did it. And I think you've been reading too many cheap detective novels. Hobbs is kind of uptight, but his loyalty to old Lord Sinclair is beyond question. The gossip really knows a lot. I'm so confused about who did it. Can you give him any hints? Well, I don't know how much help this is, but I heard that their guard dog will bark loudly at anyone it doesn't recognize. We should find out if anyone heard anything suspicious. Yep, we already covered that. So let's go see the poison salesman. They said he was heading to the Sears Village pub. We'll head that way. Originally, you would find the poison salesman hanging out in this area. But now he is all the way to the pub, and that's the only place he is. Let's go see about this poison. Poison could definitely explain this pungent pot. Poison salesman. Hey there. I'm investigating the murder at the Sinclair house. There was a murder at the Sinclair house? Yeah, we could definitely be a little better at not announcing that everywhere. Probably be a good idea. That's terrible. And I was only there the other day, too. They bought the last of my patented multi-purpose poison. Patented multi-purpose poison. Ah, a miracle of modern apothecaries. This exclusive concoction has been tested on all known forms of life and been proven to kill them all in varying dilutions, from cockroaches to king dragons. So incredibly versatile, it can be used as a pest control, a cleaning agent, drain cleaner, metal polish, and washes whiter than white. All with our uniquely fragrant concoction that is immediately recognizable across the lands as Peter Potter's patented poison potion. The salesman stops for breath. I'd love to sell you some, but I sold out recently. That's just how good it is. 328 people in this area alone cannot be wrong. 9 out of 10 poisoners prefer it to controlled tests. Can I help you with anything else? Perhaps I can take your name and add it to our mailing list of poison users? We will only send you information related to the use of poison and other Peter Potter products. No, it's okay, really. We're investigating the murder. Who did you sell poison to at the house? Well, Peter Potter's patented multi-purpose poison is a product of such obvious quality that I am glad to say I managed to sell a bottle to each of the Sinclairs. Anna, Bob, Carol, David, Elizabeth, and Frank all bought a bottle. In fact, they bought the last of my supplies. Maybe I can take your name and address. I'll personally come and visit you when stocks return. No, that's okay. So everybody had poison. I have this pot I found at the murder scene. Show the poison salesman the pot you found at the murder scene with the unusual smell. Yes, that smells exactly like my patented multi-purpose poison. But I don't see how it could be. It quite clearly says on the label of all bottles, not to be taken internally, extremely poisonous. Perhaps someone else put it in his wine? Yes, I suppose that could have happened. So that explains how Lord Sinclair died. Poison wine. The whole flimsy dagger was nothing. Can I get some of this poison? Nope. I'm afraid I'm totally out of stock at the moment after my successful trip to Sinclair's house the other day. But don't worry, our factories are working overtime to produce Peter Potter's patented multi-purpose poison. Perhaps the finest multi-purpose poison and cleaner yet available to the general market. Its unique fragrance makes it the #1 choice for cleaners and exterminators the whole country over. Probably should not be cleaning things with poison, but that's just me. I don't know. If it works, I guess. It clearly says, do not eat. It's probably fine. It's probably fine. So now, we got some poison that we can go investigate. See what everybody got that poison for. Because that's clearly suspicious. That everybody got poison, and then we found some poison in this poisoned pot. So let's see what they have to say for themselves. Like Bob here. Hey Bob. Why did you buy poison the other day? What's it to you anyway? If you absolutely must know, we had a problem with the beehive in the garden, and as all of our servants are so pathetically useless, I decided I would deal with it myself, so I did. So you use poison on the beehives. Go talk to everyone else and get their sides of the story. Yeah, just the 6 kids, though, I guess. They're the ones that bought the poison. Why did you buy poison? Frank. Would you like to buy some? I'm kind of strapped for cash right now. I'll sell it to you cheap. It's hardly been used at all. I just used a bit to clean that family crest outside up a bit. Do you think I can get much money for the family crest, actually? It's cleaned up a bit now. So he's still got some poison left. Which we should probably not have one of the murder suspects carrying around poison. There's a guard here. He's probably got it under control. Hey, David. Why did you buy poison? There's a nest of spiders upstairs between the 2 servants' quarters. Obviously, I had to kill them before our pathetic servants whined at my father some more. Honestly, so that they expect to be treated like royalty. If I had my way, I would fire the whole Workshire lot of them. So he tried to poison some spiders. Anna, what did you use poison on? That useless gardener, Stanford, has let his compost heap fester. It's an eyesore to the garden. So I bought some poison from the traveling salesman so I could kill off some of the wildlife living in it. They're just poisoning everything here. And the sales pitch for the poison was pretty convincing. We'll have to give them that. Carol, what did you poison? I don't see what on earth it has to do with you, but the drain outside was blocked, and nobody else here has the intelligence to even unblock a simple drain. I felt I had to do it myself. My goodness. And lastly, Elizabeth, what did you poison? There was a nest of mosquitoes under the fountain in the garden, which I killed with poison the other day. You can see for yourself if you're capable of managing that, which I somehow doubt. I hate mosquitoes. Doesn't everyone? So let's investigate what they all claim to have poisoned. Investigate the spider nest here. Well, there's a spider nest here. There must be a few hundred spiders ready to hatch. It's certainly clear nobody's used poison here. So these spiders haven't been poisoned. How incredibly suspect. We head outside here. Investigate the crest. Sinclair family crest. It's shiny and freshly polished. It has a slight smell of poison. So the crest is fine. There are a lot of dead mosquitoes around the base of the fountain. Faint smell of poison in the air, but the water seems clean. Amazing that they managed to not poison the water supply. That's good. The drain seems to have been cleaned recently. You can still smell the faint aroma of poison. So the drain is clear. There's a faint smell of poison from behind the smell of the compost. That's some powerful smell if you can smell it over the compost, my goodness. And the hive is empty. There are a few dead bees and a faint smell of poison. So the only one that didn't seem poisoned were the spiders. But also, Frank still had some poison left. Wants to take some flypaper? Yep. We'll investigate these sacks. Take some flypaper. Always worth it to grab anything you can while doing quests. Sacks. Flypaper, yes. And a little more flypaper. Beautiful. So, we've got the thread. We've got the spiders situation. Who said they did the spiders? They did the compost heap. David? David said the spiders. So David is our prime suspect now. Between the thread and the poison. Let's search these barrels. Something shiny hidden at the bottom. Take Anna's silver necklace. We did have some information about multiple people stealing things. Let's going to look into that. Something hidden at the bottom. Take Bob's silver cup. We're just going to go around stealing all the stolen things. We'll call it investigating. There's Carol's silver bottle. David's barrel has a book. Frank's barrel has a pot. And Elizabeth's barrel has a needle. This would be the needle they were talking about. The last thing we need to do is dust for fingerprints. That's what the actual pot here was for. Using a barrel of flour, use it on each of these individual things. Smear a small amount of flour on the murder weapon. We're going to now coat it with a thin layer of flour. use that on flypaper to get an unknown print from the murder weapon. And then, basically, we just use all the different bits with the flower, and then use the bits with the flypaper to get all the prints. Silver bottle, there you go. Fill 5 pots of flour in the Sinclair mansion. Achievement, fantastic. Technically, you don't need to fill the flour here. You just bring your own flour. But it exists, so might as well make use of it. And lastly, the needle. So now we have all the different prints. Compare them with the unknown print. They don't seem to be the same. Yes, that clears Anna of the crime. You destroy the useless fingerprint. And Bob's wasn't the same. Carol's wasn't the same. David's was a perfect match, though. And then, now we have the killer's print, we can't check the other ones. Nothing interesting happens. But we did see it was David's. So between all the bits of information we have, it's clearly David's. I think there was probably some kind of hint about fingerprints. But if you just look around, you'll find everything you need. Now, talk to the guard. I know who did it. I have conclusive proof who the killer was. You do? That's excellent work. Let's hear it then. I don't think it was an intruder, and I don't think Lord Sinclair was killed by being stabbed. Really? Why not? Nobody heard the guard dog barking, which would have been if it was an intruder who was responsible. Nobody heard any signs of a struggle either. I think the knife was there to throw suspicion away from the real culprit. That makes sense, but who did it then? You proved to the guard the thread matches David's clothes. Yes, I'd have to agree with that, but we need more evidence. You proved to the guard David did not use poison on the spider's nest. Excellent work. Have you considered a career as a detective? I'm afraid it's still not quite enough. You match David's fingerprint with those on the dagger found in the body of Lord Sinclair. Yes, there's no doubt about it. It must have been David who killed his father. All of the guards must congratulate you on your excellent work in helping us solve this case. We don't have many murders here in Gillinor, and I'm afraid we wouldn't have been able to solve it by ourselves. We'll hold him here under house arrest until such time as we bring him to trial. You have our gratitude, and I'm sure the rest of the families as well. In helping to apprehend the murderer, I'll just take the evidence from you now. You hand over all the evidence. Please accept this reward from the family. Quest complete. We get 3 quest points, some crafting experience, and 2,000 coins. Oh boy. The crafting experience, a slightly more interesting formula. We got some fractional or decimal experience here, which is a thing. We would have gotten actually exactly. Not exactly. Times 5 plus 5. Yeah, that's not a problem here though. We would have gotten 2,212 experience, and we actually get 1,406. So that's fine. So the murder mystery has been solved. Interesting that a murder would take place, again, up here, further north than everything else besides the wilderness. It's something about being in the north, I guess. Something like that. I don't know. Anyways, that is that quest. There you go. You can definitely do that a lot quicker. without needing to talk to everybody about everything or get all the different pieces. But we wanted to be thorough. And we were. Very good. And that is all for this date. As we move on, again, we've been doing pretty good with continuing onwards. Although, we're going to get to a point here, not too long, where we're going to need to stop for a little bit and get our grind on. But that's not yet. And it's also not going to be next time. Goodbye.